for snacks next week. And just a reminder, and I don't know who did this, but Yoda is back out. Yeah, Yoda is there for that. Tina, are you here next week? She is here, so she is the one that you can talk to if you can bring in a snack. Okay, Zeke is eating right now, so I won't call on him. Joanne, do you want a mic? Joanne can talk first. Oscar, do we have an extra mic?
Yeah. He's also eating.
Oh, sorry.
Where do I need to go?
Joanne.
I know what it's just a minute. I'll fix it. Now we should be good.
All right, so for the food pantry, we had another 125 pounds last week, divided between Whetstone, and then I decided to bring last week's to KI, because I hadn't been there since June, and it was kind of serendipitous, because you find things out when you know people, right? And so what I found out was that our senior commodity program almost collapsed this month. So because of the federal shutdown, there was going to be no commodities going to the seniors. The state of Michigan, however, dug into their emergency fund. They were able to contract a company, Focus Hope, and get everything packaged up. However, for a lack of a better explanation, the distribution up here collapsed. So Dickinson, who had normally done it for the UP, was no longer going to do it. So if one person, this gal, did not do it all alone, the seniors in Alger County would not have gotten their commodities. So they don't know exactly what's going to happen next month, but between Marquette, so Marquette County, there's 158 boxes. They're about 30 pounds apiece. Alger County is 32 boxes. There's 8 drop-off points in Marquette, 3 in Alger. We are going to try to find some volunteers. So if anybody would like to volunteer, we'll have a table and we can talk more about it. Because you're working with vulnerable seniors in your name and checking those off, you would have to fill out a background check. So we'll talk about that more at the table.
I thought you were sitting ready for 10 people. Thank you, Joanne.
Hello, good evening. I'm Zeke, he, him. I am updating on the We the People Food Pantry Mutual Aid. We were able to help several families last week get to the food pantries and pick up food not only for themselves but some of their neighbors. We also extended information about all the efforts going on, not just with this group, but many of the opportunities around the area to assist in food pantries like the DoorDash and the places that are helping deliver food to people. We unfortunately had to put an end to it at this point, but we are looking into what the next steps might be, and we will update you when we get those. Thank you. Oh yeah, my mistake. Yeah, sorry, one more update. We did actually go to the MarkTran board meeting and we presented the recommendations document. So based on the conversations we've had with the public, with a lot of the people who have ridden the MarkTran public transit systems, conversations with the board as well on what their future moves and ideas and goals are. We consolidated a lot of that information and focused on what the primary priorities of the riders are. Good news is a lot of those things align with what MarkTran is already targeting for their future steps, so hopefully that will help give them a little bit of I guess, assurance that they're working on the right things, or a little bit of information to refer to on priorities going forward. So we delivered that to them, and yeah, I guess we'll look at what the future meetings hold in store.
Good evening, everybody. Will Sullivan, I'm the board chair of Room at the Inn. I know some of you may have heard about some of the issues that we're facing specifically right now with our capacity. As the weather has turned to be a bit like it is here today, we've had people seeking shelter at Room at the Inn who are over even our overflow capacity. So we have had to look for another off-site place to house them. Thankfully, we've been able to find one. The city of Marquette, to their great credit, when we went to them for help, they were able to provide for us, and was approved at just this most recent board meeting yesterday, approved to enter into talks to essentially lease the pavilion at Presque Isle for the month of December. That was the only month that we really needed the overflow, because the Salvation Army, again to their great credit, provides shelter overflow space from January 1st on. So this was a development that was kind of a surprise to us. We've always seen an increase in need in the winter. We've never seen it be as bad as it is now. Before we were able to get this space, the last time that the weather a couple weeks ago dipped into the snowy, blizzardy type stuff, Room at the Inn was so full we had to have people sleep essentially sitting up at the lunch tables. So we are, and of course that's, aside from being uncomfortable, it's also dangerous. We don't want to put our people at risk. So we are having, we're kind of figuring it out as we go, but we are optimistic that we'll be able to get something in place at the pavilion that will work. I know some people had expressed interest in volunteering and helping out with Room at the Inn, and this is going to be a great opportunity to do so, because we will be setting up and tearing down a temporary shelter in the pavilion every night in the month of December. So I do have some contact information for anybody who thinks that they are able to help out. We would be very much appreciative. I have an email address, jennifer.figler, F-I-G-L-E-R, at roomattheinn.org, is going to be coordinating volunteers. I wish I could tell you a little bit more about what that's going to look like, but because this is sort of an emergent situation, we're kind of figuring it out as we go. So, yeah, it is. That's a very good question. We are reaching out to, we kind of think that asking people to transport our clients in like their own personal vehicles is really too much of an ask. So we're reaching out to Marktran. We're reaching out to other entities that may have a 15-passenger van, something like Checker Cab, things of that nature. Again, we're sort of figuring it out on the fly, unfortunately. We always see an increase in the winter. We're seeing a large increase this winter. And so many of our clientele are now people who are not really working in, ages 60 and up, with people with disabilities who have needs that are sometimes difficult to accommodate. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I think that most of what we are probably going to be asking volunteers to do is to assist in setup and tear down. There may be space for somebody to cover like an overnight shift at a add an overflow shelter, but I'm not really sure if that is what we're gonna wanna do. I think we probably want, trained staff on hand. But if anybody is interested in covering overnight shifts, again, reach out to, jennifer.figler@roomattheinn.org. And, we anticipate having some sort of training this Sunday, both for employees of Room at the Inn, anybody else who is, willing and able to, donate their time. I mean, it would be, very gracious, when things get, when the weather gets the way it gets up here. I think that being able to have the shelter space to accommodate these extra people is going to save lives. So, we appreciate, the city for making this space available, and anybody else in our community who is able to come out and support us. So, thank you very much. Yes?
Are they setting up food at the pavilion as well as accommodations?
No, food is going to be available at Room at the Inn at 447 West Washington. Essentially, again, this isn't set in stone yet, but essentially the setup and tear down will be at night, when it's, time to go to bed, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30, something like that, with wake up call and tear down coming in the morning, at around, again, we don't really know, 6:30, 7 a.m., something like that. And, we're hoping to be able to organize transportation out to the pavilion and then back in sort of a mass busing of our clientele. But, we're working on it.
Are you able to stay until we do our breakout roundtable?
I can stick around, yeah, if anybody has, wants to talk, get some more details about what we're working on. Absolutely. Sure, thank you. Thank you again so much. We really appreciate the support that Yoopers United has given us over the past, several months. Thank you.
Any other updates from past week events?
I went up to the Houghton Mart, they gave me some pamphlets there, directed to support the Salvation Army. To support the,
Must be the weather.
yeah,
Try this one.
sure.
Or maybe just go to the, since
Yeah.
you're here.
Since the Salvation Army is also helping out with, homelessness and unhomed, they have given us some pamphlets to help them disseminate in our area, to encourage people to donate and help support the Salvation Army in those efforts. Also, they were happy to have some support from, Marquette this weekend, or this past weekend, and they're trying to come down here more often. They're looking forward to seeing if more people can make it up there on Sundays at 3 p.m. For my part, I will try to put in notices when I'm heading up, and I could probably take one person along with on weekends. So I'll give you a heads up in the future. It's at the bridge between Houghton and Hancock. So they assemble right on the Houghton side of the bridge, and after a little while, they march across the bridge and then back. And yeah.
Every Sunday?
Yes.
The longest running Ukrainian support protest in,
It's been going on for years.
yeah,
Yeah, it'll be starting year 4.
yep.
Hi, everybody, I'm Tina. I am the person who started the temporary food pantry at Whetstone, where I live, for low-income people. We are doing really amazing work there. People appreciate it so, so much. I do have one special request. I have put out a feeler to do a holiday basket, is what I'm calling it. And one of the residents has approached me that one of her children has 12 anaphylactic reaction to food, 12 different foods. They are afraid to ever accept food from outside of their own home, and cross-contamination issues. So she has approached me and asked if there is any way that we would be able to support with like a gift certificate to a grocery store so that she could purchase things, that would be special for the holiday. So if anybody would like to contribute to that, if you would just see me at some point this evening, it's not a hurry because we're talking about a holiday basket, so not for Thanksgiving, but for, I told everybody it would be like the last, week before Christmas that I would be doing those baskets. So I just wanted to throw that out there, a special situation for a family with severe allergies.
Yes, I hate sharing, but I'll do it. So I went to Escanaba, I found the Indivisible, email that they were doing an America First, and I went by, like, bringing my mom to an appointment, and there's usually not a lot of people there. And they only had about 20, but it was great. Teresa Ross, if you guys remember, she's the one that organized the Bergman Town Hall. Well, she wants to do an annual one, so we can start doing it every year, until he's gone. So March, mark your calendars, March. Hopefully she finds a bigger venue because it was packed that day. And but it was great talking to people. Most people had already signed the petitions, but I got maybe 8, 9 more signatures, and it was a good time being there with them. So, yeah, thanks.
I gotta read through all my scratches here. So, you'll notice I added on the agenda action items. That's why it's highlighted. One of the things that I've been thinking about recently is what I liked about coming here was I left with something to do that analogy of dipping my toes in Lake Superior into politics. And so the first one I saw on the Facebook page, there's public comment. Michigan courts are proposing a new rule that would prohibit civil arrest at Michigan courthouses. Yeah. So there is a link on here. I'll also put it out on the minutes and stuff. Sorry, I didn't actually put the URL there. But if you look up Michigan Court Rule, and there's the number MCR 8.115, you can do public comment up through December 22nd, or this week. Okay. And then the Indivisible is doing the We Ain't Buying It boycott for Home Depot, Target, and Amazon. So you may already be boycotting them anyway, but I wanted to put that on there. If you have other ideas for lack of a better word, simple action items that we can put on the agenda or get out, we can do that. Because I am not in charge of the agenda, I just type it up. That's all I do. So Lydia is not here, so she asked me to share. I don't know if I don't even know if I put it on the agenda, sorry. She had talked about the adoptive family program. So she has reached out to United Way, and up here, are all these little snowflakes, and on the back of each snowflake is an item for that person in the family. She really tried to look for a family that was asking, for lack of a better word, more practical, items. So you can take one or more of these little snowflakes. It's on the back. We have until December 9th. Whatever it doesn't get pulled tonight, she is going to put up a sign of genius. And so other people can do that. I think I may take the household just because I have $41 at Walgreens, and this is exactly why I have $41 at Walgreens, is because at Christmas time I start doing this. So, unless someone else wants that, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So don't forget to look through this, and, my guess, I'm supposed to send, what did she do? I'm supposed to take a picture of any that are left. She'll do the sign up genius, and we'll get that out through Yoopers Unite also. Okay. Connected organizations, and whoever. So we heard from We the People. Are we gonna hear from the steering committee from Lake Superior? And anyone else? After that?
Well, just briefly, we had another LSRI meeting last night at the library with nearly 30 people, again. And this time we split into groups, and there was an election team, an events and action team, a membership team, and a communications and technology team, for starters. And the teams wrote down purpose and responsibilities, kind of their own mission statements and actions associated with those, and it was a really energized room when everybody left. People are going to start doing, we're still in the beginning stages. We're still transferring over website, protocol stuff. Maybe we have some of this, but, and emails, how to send emails out to 600 people is unclear. And, but all of that stuff is in the works. We have a treasurer, Rick Coaches, who has an hour-long Zoom early December with Indivisible, so he'll be able to tell us more after that, just, how we can use money and make money and all of that kind of stuff. So things are in the works. We'll be really excited when the website's up and when we can figure out the emails to be able to communicate with people better. But a bunch of people in this room were at the meeting last night. And so, please ask any questions. We are bummed that we don't have capability to communicate with the larger group just yet, but it is in the works. So, yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
So Sunday, I met with the other captains and the directors of Rank My Vote petition campaign, and we went over the state of things. The current state of things is that the window of viability, as they're calling it, is not quite closed. It's very tight at this moment. We are looking at the 6-month deadline is going to be mid-January, and the number of signatures needed, we aren't there yet. Okay. We are going to continue with the microcirculator campaign here. They are encouraging us, any microcirculators you get, it would be very advised to get them to register as volunteers for these campaigns if possible. And we are going to get an update from them, from the ranked choice voting petitions specifically mid-December to let us know if the window of viability is still open or not. That means no one's going to be standing out in the cold at the end of the year trying to get to the finish line of the signatures if it's not statistically possible. We are going to have events every week going forward. The goal is to have one in Marquette every week. Things like the holiday market, tree lighting, stuff like that. Black Friday, we're going to try to have one on the east side and or one on the west side as well. We are encouraged to try to go to rest areas and visitor centers during these holiday dates, to try to catch people that are going to and from. I'm making a call right now, don't do that tomorrow. And if you haven't seen the weather, go take a look, but it's gonna be dangerous. Please, take care. If you have the opportunity to go circulate somewhere safe indoors, sure, but don't put yourself at risk. We're gonna jump on it next week. We've got people that are going up to Northern's campus to talk to people, and we're gonna have a more cohesive, defined set of events going forward to finish out the end of the year. And based on the updates from the campaign, we will see how long it's gonna go. Some heartening news on those campaigns is that even if we do not meet the window of viability in this 6-month window, that does not mean they're over. I could look up further details on the exact legal procedures behind it, but basically they had a 6-month window to collect enough signatures. That window can move. So what will happen is if they feel that the collection rate is high enough to still meet the goal, they'll keep collecting and file an extension. The oldest signatures will start to expire, but they will try to reach out to people who have already signed and have them re-sign. And with the amount of volunteers and effort that, like this group is putting in, that we have now, we have higher signature collection now than we did at the start of this. And so how this will work is if we feel like we have enough signatures coming in, yeah, they'll extend the deadline. They'll try to find out when it makes sense to submit this to the state and get that all set. So just because that window of viability closes, that is not the end of it. And then furthermore, they will be figuring out what the next steps are regardless. The directors have been talking about that now. So once we get those updates, we'll also hear if we made it, if we didn't, and if we didn't, what the backup plan is and when that is going to be executed.
And I just wanted to add that in talking to voters, not politicians, during summer months, they get approximately 30% of the signatures from microcirculators. And realizing that they are in the winter now, they're realizing they're going to have to go with 50 to 60% of signatures coming from microcirculators. So they're really ramping up the importance of microcirculation everywhere.
Thank you, guys.
What's up?
Quick, for people that maybe
Yeah.
weren't here last week,
Yeah.
what do you have for?
Yeah, so we have put together packets, and in these packets, the packet is an envelope that is stuffed with instructions on how to circulate and talk about the petition, an example of a correct signature and what that signature what a person needs to include when they are signing, and what they need to do correctly in order for it to be validated by the state. We will have empty ballot sheets. We are not trying to force people to get signatures, especially for one of the ballot initiatives that they do not agree with, but these are all for opportunities. If you're talking with family and friends and you're talking about these issues, bring it up. You have an opportunity right there to grab some signatures, bring them back to us. Also, for anyone that is a microcirculator, like I said, we are being encouraged to register you as a volunteer. So please just talk to the people that you're returning the sheet to. We can assist with that. The gist of this is they're going to want an email, basically, but anyone who's taking one of these sheets, you're going to have to write down your name, your address, the zip code, to certify that you did follow the rules when you were circulating the petition to the best of your ability, and it's not fraudulent. So a little bit extra step just to make sure you're officially in the campaign systems. This will help track things and make the actual data and analysis of where we're at with signatures and what we can accomplish going forward more accurate.
I also have, by default, become the Invest in My Kids lead. Cole is Northern student and is gone for Thanksgiving break. Will come back for a short time and then be gone till January. So I have basically the petitions for that. So there's that. Are there any suggestions for new actions or speakers? You got one? Good.
Howdy everyone. As you know, it's the time of giving, and the alternative high school is doing their sock fundraiser, sock drive, Rock the Socks. My job has a little basket that we can put socks in, and they'll go to the people in need. And I'm talking baby socks, toddler socks, youth socks, adult socks, all the socks, fresh, new, delicious socks. Please don't eat the socks. There's also some other bins in different areas, like I believe Embers Bank, you said?
Usually has one.
Yes. So if you either see one for Rock the Socks, I implore you to please drop even if just one new pair. And if you don't know where a bin is, you could bring it next week and give it to me, and I will make sure it gets to my place of work. They asked me to just say my place of work, but yeah, and one more thing I wanted to say, can't remember, Okay, I think that covers it. But yeah, no, seriously, it's one of the most requested items, but one of the least donated, and we're all Michiganders, we like our toesies warm. So thank you all so much for your time.
Room at the inn gets some of those socks. Yes. I also just want to share, this isn't an action or a speaker, but a resource that I found. I was watching Joyce Vance talk to Stacey Abrams last week, and Stacey Abrams from Georgia, she is part of it's called 10stepscampaign.org. 10 steps campaign.org. And it's based on the 10 steps to authoritarianism. It's a hard word. But then it's how do you fight that, the 10 steps to fight back. And I want to just say, Yoopers Unite, we're doing a lot of them. Yeah, like I really found, it spoke to me when I went to that website, and I went, yeah, that's Yoopers Unite. It's not these huge, big undertakings. It's the small things and finding a group that's going to work on something. And so I'll put that in the minutes too. I think we can use that for some guiding of what we're doing here. Anyone else? Resources, ideas? Okay, I am going to say, I really I feel like we should do it was very simple. We did the Ukraine walk on like a Sunday. We met at Harlow Park. We walked the sidewalk, Washington Street, and back. We just did a loop. So I feel like we should do another one of those, given what is happening there again in the 20-piece plan fiasco. So, yeah. Faith, did you have another idea or something you were going to share?
Yeah, it was Russia's wish list, but supposedly came from us.
The candlelight vigil has the final piece that I've been looking for. The candlelight vigil for the disappeared. It's going to happen late December. We now have singers. The Women Sing are going to participate with us. We have a speaker. There may be a second speaker yet. And we have meditation happening on the courthouse steps. And I'm thinking probably the Saturday, but I gotta make sure all those people can be there at that time. So it's coming together. And I'm just real excited for that. And the planting, we should probably work on that quickly. All right, thank you. Yep, of course. I went to the Green Action Summit with Larry, I think Amanda. And it was 5 intense days of learning a lot. And I would want to cry right now because if I repeated stories of what's happening to the children there, the world should be ashamed. But we saw two movies, documentaries that were shown. And I just read that the first one, it's called 2,000 Meters to Andrivka. I'm not sure where it's going to be shown, whether it's Netflix or wherever. But I have to tell you, it's very graphic. It's an actual battle that the Ukrainian, they call their soldiers defenders, enacted, and there are, you see Ukrainians being shot dead, Russians being shot dead in this documentary. And their goal was to recapture Andrivka, which they did, and when they got there, the whole town was destroyed. But they did put the Ukrainian flag there. And unfortunately, successively, the Russians recaptured it. But if you want to really see what is actually happening in the war and what the defenders are doing, please watch it. We met defenders when we were in Washington, and it was very moving. We also saw a documentary, and I think it's called Save the Children, which was about children who had been captured, stolen by the Russians, taken to Russia, indoctrinated, and somehow rescued. I don't know how that happened. The stories of the children, it's just immense. So please, I called Jeff Bergman's office today and said it's so embarrassing that the Americans would come up with something so devastating to the Ukrainian people. But one thing that I did learn when I was there, that the Ukrainians are never going to stop fighting. So we have to stop with them. And I think a lot of you know Nadia, remember her and Papa when they were here at our meeting. One thing that stuck in my mind, and Nadia is an extraordinary leader, we were just having a conversation, and she said, I'm not sure exactly, she had been with children where she was teaching them, I don't know if she volunteers in a school, I'm not sure what the circumstances were, but she said the children said to her, Nadia, why can't we save the children? So I'll leave it at that. Let's do what we can.
Anything else? All right. So breakout groups. Adoptive family isn't really a breakout group, but we'll have that right there, or I'll put it at a table and you can take a look at that. Ballot petitions, as always, Joanne, and ballot petitions back there. Joanne has the volunteer forms for the commodity distribution, if you're interested in helping with that. What else am I missing? Anything? Oh, room at the inn. See, that's why I need you guys. Thank you. Anything else? And I have not confirmed with Dana. She is coming. She has to see when the market commission meeting is, county commission meeting is, and then she'll come on one of the other Tuesdays in January to introduce herself. Yes? Okay, pop up too for December 2nd. Okay. That's it?
Eat more. Yeah, eat more food, please.
Sound like my